Okay, so Saturday in the UK sees two big heavyweight clashes: Anthony Joshua versus Eric Molina, and Dillian White versus Derek Chisora. I've been paying more attention to the Chisora White build up. Firstly, because I didn't actually hear anything about it until yesterday, and I'm a boxing fan, so I don't know whether that was because it was underreported or I just had missed something. But that was a fight that I'd long been sort of anticipating. I always thought, well, White, Chisora, there's something about those two guys that strikes me as somewhat similar. I don't know if it's personality or style or I don't know what it is. But people are saying that they can't get excited for the fight. I disagree. I think it's going to be a good bout. I think both of these guys are power punchers. I think they're both interesting fighters to watch. Um, anyway, at the press conference, Derek Chisora lost his temper and flipped over the table, and it's making a lot of news in boxing cyberspace. His reason for that was that Dillian White had threatened his life, supposedly. Now, Dillian White's version of events is that Chisora had sent him tweets, pictures, showing him clay pigeon shooting, and that he responded he's going to get him outside or something like that. Now, how this translates to a threat in his life, I don't know. But Chisora was trying to justify it by saying that if you threaten a man's life, then it extends to threaten his family and so on. So he was trying to make out that he was the good guy in all of this. Well, in the face-off, Chisora also splashed water over his opponent. Now, if you look at Chisora's track record, he has a long history of this sort of behaviour. His antics during the Vitaly Klitschko fight were a disgrace. Um, he's obviously had a history with David Haye. He threatened to shoot David Haye. And it's not to say that there aren't other fighters who haven't been, involved in trash talking and so on as well. But Chisora really does stand out with this sort of behaviour. And I thought he'd kind of grown up by now, but apparently not. Um, you know, this whole business of all threatening my life and so on. Look at the Klitschko's. They have had all sorts of verbal abuse from, especially British opponents, but they've conducted themselves with patience and dignity. I admit, like I said in the last video, second from last video, that trash talking and these sort of antics can certainly be entertaining, but at the end of the day, these are professional boxers. They're getting paid a lot of money, and yeah, I'm not sure if it's good for the sport. It can be entertaining, but they're meant to be professional sportsmen in the end of the day. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video is for really another reason. Michelle Joy Phelps. If you're a boxing fan, you probably know who she is. She is basically a boxing journalist, and she covers all the big fights, both in the US and the UK. I just want to shout out really a word of appreciation for Michelle Joy Phelps. Now, a lot of male boxing fans appreciate her for, frankly, heterosexual male reasons. She is a very attractive lady. But I want to just point out that she is actually a very good boxing journalist. Yeah, of course, she is a beautiful woman, that's without question. And, I'm as red blooded as the next man, all the rest of it. But there is something I want to say, and that is that I think Michelle Joy Phelps really does bring an excellent standard of professional boxing journalism because she has a style of respect in the way that she pitches questions, in the way that she handles herself. I think really is wonderful. And you don't always see it among boxing journalists. When I talk about disrespect and trash talk and so on, all too often you see that among boxing journalists, especially in the tabloids. I mean, if we go back to the film Rocky Five, there's a scene in that where there's a journalist goading Tommy Gunn, and obviously it's just a film, and obviously it's exaggerated. He's like, "When are you going to fight a real champ?" and all this sort of thing. But the fact of the matter is, there are boxing journalists out there who do like to get under fighters' skin, and they're not very professional about the way they go about things. I think the industry has improved greatly. I mean, it's better than the days between, let's say, the 1930s, 1940s, probably right up until the 70s. You had boxing journalists openly calling fighters bums. There was a period in the 30s where there was this cruel sort of tagline for Joe Lewis opponents. They called them the Bum of the Month Club, which was a disgusting way to talk about guys who are in a dangerous sport. But yeah, I just want to really say that Michelle Joy Phelps deserves a lot of credit. I've seen a lot of her videos, and I think she is a perfect sports boxing journalist because she asks the right questions. You know, she asks fighters tough questions, like any journalist should do, but she always does it in a respectful way. She never uses trashy language. She never uses words like tomato can or bum or anything like that. She's really respectful to the fighters because she knows these guys are in a tough sport. Um, and she also manages to be completely neutral. You know, when she interviews one guy, she doesn't take sides. So I really respect her. I think she is a fantastic boxing journalist, and you know that's what we really need in this sport. I'm not saying she's the only person who's good at her job, but I really do think she's exemplary in the way she goes about it, and she deserves all the attention she gets for that reason. So yeah, full respect to Michelle Joy Phelps, fantastic boxing journalist.